everyone. In this video, I'm going to introduce the standard form of the equation of a line to you. Let me back up just a second. You should have just finished a lesson on what was called the slope-intercept form of the equation of a line. This is the notes we completed on that. The slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. This format is super helpful because it shows us the slope of the line and it shows us the y-intercept of the line. Now, we don't always get equations given to us in that order. Sometimes we get an equation that's written in what's called standard form. Ax plus by equals c represents the standard form. Notice I put A, B, and C in capital letters. Those represent numbers. A, B, and C will be the numbers. X and Y will be the variables. Well, standard form is not super helpful when you're trying to work with lines, so we really need to work on converting our standard form equations into slope-intercept form. So we're going to rearrange each of these formulas from standard form into slope-intercept form. So we're kind of back to our equation solving skills here. Let's look at number 1. In number 1, the A is a 2 in front of X, the B is a 1 in front of Y, and the C is a 3. We need to move over everything except the Y. We want to turn this equation into a Y equals mx plus b pattern. The first thing I'm going to move is this 2x. I don't need to separate it. I don't need to divide off the 2. I need to move the whole thing together. It could represent my mx on this side of the equation. We know from equation solving that to move something across the equals, we have to use the inverse operation. So I'm going to subtract 2x from this side to bring it to the right side. So the only thing I have left here is a 1y. I'm just going to write that as y equals. And now I want to be really smart about how I write the order of the variables and the constants on the right side. I want to lead with mx. The negative 2x is the mx, and the positive 3, which is the constant, is the y-intercept. So I've taken a standard form equation and turned it into a slope-intercept form equation, and now it's very simple for me to identify what's the slope. It's the number in front of x, so negative 2, and what's the y-intercept? It's the constant at the end of the equation, positive 3. All right, let's do another example. Check out number 2. Step 1, I want to move 4x across. To move a positive 4x, I have to subtract. A positive 4x and a negative 4x cancel out, so the only thing left on the left side is 5y. Now again, think through what you want to do here. You want it to look like mx plus b, so I'm going to put the negative 4x first and the negative 30 second so that I'm following the y equals mx plus b pattern. Now I'm not done this time because I have a coefficient of 5 attached to the y. In order to get rid of something that's multiplying a y, I need to divide by that value. So I'm dividing the entire right side by 5. Okay, do each division one at a time. Negative 4 divided by 5 cannot be simplified. So I'm just going to write that as negative 4 divided by 5 in front of the x. There's your slope, the rise and run. Negative 30 divided by 5 can be simplified. Negative 30 divided by 5 simplifies to negative 6. Now this equation is in the format of y equals mx plus b. The slope is negative 4 over 5, and the y-intercept is negative 6. Let's do a couple more. Let's skip down to number 5. What are we going to do if there's a 0 mixed into our problem? Well, we're going to follow the same steps we've been following. Step 1, move over the 4x. It's a positive 4x, so to move it, I need to subtract it. That leaves me with a negative y equals, put this in the right order, mx plus b, negative 4x plus 0. The coefficient in front of this y is a negative 1. You can write that in if you want to. So to get rid of a negative that's multiplying y, I need to divide. Negative 4 divided by negative 1 is positive 4, and 0 divided by anything is 0, and I don't even need to write it. 4x plus 0 is the same as 4x. My slope is clear to see, it is 4. My y-intercept is clear to see, it is 0. All right, everybody, use the rest of these problems as a practice set. Happy studying!